Dear viewers, dear learners, thank you everybody. Today I have been here to let you know, to give you some good information about uh, preposition part 4, and in this phase I am going to discuss about the use of on, preposition on. But before going to discuss this topic, I like to talk about some important facts for which we can't be able to learn English. Dear viewers, you think, and dear students, you think that it is very hard work or it is very difficult to learn English, but I think it is easy. I think it is easy if you know the systems, if you know the language learning uh, procedures or language learning process or rules, and how you can use the language in your speaking or in writing, then it will be very easy for you. So your conception should be similar. Your conception should be relevant to what you are going to do. So, dear viewers, I like to tell you a joke, and according to the joke, you will learn that we should be relevant to our activities. Our thought should be relevant to our activities. So, I like to start the joke, dear viewers. Please uh, try to understand. One day, a silly boy was standing in front of the headmaster's room, and also a girl. The girl proceeded to the headmaster's room, and near at the door, she uh, asked the headmaster's permission like this way. She was telling, "May I come in, sir?" So she was a girl, so she told the headmaster or asked the headmaster to get into the room. The headmaster allowed her to get into the room. So the boy, who was not so I think intelligent, or somewhat his thought was not relevant to that, so he also proceeded to the headmaster's room and told the headmaster, or asked the permission of the headmaster. So saying like this, "Boy, I come in, boy, I come in, sir." That means he was thinking the girl said, "May I come in, sir?" So I am a boy, so I should have to tell, "Boy, I come in, sir." So you see that through this joke, it is meant to say that if our thought is not relevant to what I am going to do, then the action will not be so suitable for me. The action will be difficult for me. So my thought should be very optimistic, very attitude based. If your attitude is 100%, I think you will be able to do any hard work. Nothing is impossible to man on the earth, because man is the supreme human being on the earth. So we have to remember that we can do anything, because such kind of power has been imposed, such kind of power has been created between in us, in you, and in everybody. So there are some latent powers through which we can do anything successful. So dear viewers, I am going to tell you now about the use of on. So let us get started. Number one, we can use this preposition uh, in the meaning of to mean surface. To mean surface. If you want to mean surface, you can use this preposition. So surface. It sits on the chair, and in this case, this is the chair is the surface. And while we are using on, we have to remember that the backside of us must somewhat touch the surface of the chair. So when we are touching something, touching any surface, we can use on. So I sat on the grass. In this case, the grass is short, so the surface can be touched by me. I sat on the grass because the grass was short. And Hamim sat in the grass. In this case, the grass is tall, so in is applicable here, appropriate here. Here, in this case, on is not appropriate. So it depends on my thinking. So when I think the grass is short, so we can use on. When you think the grass is tall, so you can use in, and you can't use on in this case. So dear viewers, now I like to tell you another important rule of using on. You can use on before any date or name of the day. Before name of the day or before any date, you can use on. So dear viewers, suppose we went to Dhaka. We went to Dhaka on Monday last. On Monday last. On Monday last. So this is the name of the day. This is the name of the day. Monday. It is the name of the day. So before it we can use on. And we also use on before a date. Suppose I went to him on the I went him on the 13th 13th September. So dear viewers, you can say this has been first 13th September because today is 18th September. Today is 18th September, but I went to him on the 13th September. So this is a date. This is a date, and before the date we can use on. And dear viewers, one most important rule of using on is that if you want to mean punctuality, we can use punctuality. We can use on. So he came home on time. So in this case, coming home on time, that means not after the time or not before the time. That is on time. So he came home on time. This is actually punctuality. And dear viewers, if you think that most of the people come back home not at the genuine time, not at the just time, but in this case, this is also rare. But if you say that Mr. Peter came to office. Mr. Peter came to office on time. This means that Mr. Peter came to office not before the time or not after the time scheduled. There is a scheduled time of office hour or starting of the office hour. There must be a scheduled time. and Mr. Peter came to office on time, not before the time or not after the time. So if we want to mend punctuality, we can use on. So in this sentence, in the two sentences map, you can see. And now I like to tell you that if we want to mean that somebody is at work, somebody is working now, and his work is going on, and he is present at his office or at his workplace. So in that case, we can also use on. So suppose she is on duty now. This means that she is doing her duty now. She is not stopping her duty now. She is continuing her duty now at present. So dear viewers, so we can use on like this way. And if we want to mean any enlistment, that means if we want to mean that there is something on the list there, that means that is, if you want to mean there are some things on the list, or there is at least one thing on the list, then if you want to mean the presence of anything on the list, you can use on. So his name was on the list. His name was on the list. Or what is the food? What is the food on the menu? What is the food on the menu? So dear viewers, you see what is the food on the menu. So I am trying to know what is the food on the menu. That means there is a list of food. So there is a list of food, and I want to know a food on the menu. That means it means the enlistment, and his name was on the list. So if we want to mean the presence of something on the list, we can use on. And now I am telling you that if we want to express some educational or some research activity, we can use on. So dear viewers, write an essay on jute. Write an essay on jute, or on the magazine. There are some good articles to amuse anyone. So dear viewers, you see that these two sentences. First one is write an essay on jute. So this is an educational activity. So write an essay on jute. This is an educational activity, or you can mean that research activity on the magazine. There are some good articles to amuse anyone. So if we want to mean the educational activity, or the research activity, we can use on, preposition on, in our sentences like this way. And last of all, I like to tell you another use of on in English sentences, like when we sometimes say that often often on page 13, often on page 13 of the book. Of the book. So dear viewers, you see often on page 13 of the book. So here, uh, anybody can think why on is here, because we can say often in page 13 of the book, because the page is inside of the book. But actually on is applicable, on is appropriate here, because you know that while you are opening the face, you just touch the surface of the face. So in that sense we can use on here, not in. So often on page 13 of the book, or you can use at. You can use at in this case, because this is a very definite place. When we mean to say any definite place, we can use at before that place, before that definite or a specific place. But as I'm discussing about the usages of on, so I am telling often on page 13 of the book. So dear viewers, today I am just going to end the discussions about the usages of on and this part 4, and later on I will discuss about the usages of on in my uh, preposition part 5 and on my next video, in my next video. So till then I wish you best of luck. I wish that you keep sound, and you please help me by giving like, comments and share, and with your help I will be somewhat developed, and I will be somewhat encouraged to offer some good videos later on. And I think English learning is possible when you keep continuing the matter, keep continuing the process of learning. That means if you continue the process, if you continue learning English and not haphazardly, so you can somewhat go forward. You can make yourself developed, and you can one day be very expert in speaking, writing English. Thank you. Wish you best of luck.